Of course, this is DBS. I'm Dealer Dolor, and this is Dolor Factor Live. We are talking about life's issues, life's problems, and on set I have two counsellors with me. I have Angus McMillan and Beverlyn John. Angus, you were talking about, we said that you would give us some examples.
All right.
Let's go straight with those.
A very quick one. You say something to me, for example, you're stupid or what?
You're stupid or what?
So I can choose to either be passive about it and just take it on board and not say anything, but feel very disturbed internally. Or I can say, what the hell happened to you, man? Who you think you're talking to? Or I can say to you, Delia, when you say that, I feel completely disrespected by that. So maybe in the future, we could talk differently to each other. That's assertive.
Right.
Because it's about me, it's not about you, it's talking about how I feel in a given situation.
But how do you learn to start talking like that, especially if you are used to being aggressive in your responses?
But you've learned how to be aggressive. Whatever you've learned, you can relearn.
So you can teach an old dog new tricks?
Oh yes.
Of course.
A leopard can change their spots?
Do it all the
Yes.
time.
Oh yeah.
But they have to want to change their spots.
That's
Yeah,
true.
this is
That's
it.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
That is the most important thing. It's about the person wanting to change. It's not automatically that they can change. If they don't want to change, there's nothing you're going to do to help them to change.
What is more important when it comes to communication? Is it the way that we say things, or is it the way that we listen?
Listening, I think, is the most important part of communication, because you can spend your life speaking and you're not hearing the other person. You're missing the significance of what they're saying. You miss the point. So listening is the most important part, to get to know what the person is really communicating. Observation is also another part of communication. So you're observing. You know, the person who says, I'm fine, but when you look into their eyes, you look at their body language, you know they're not fine. And then you know you have to do something different or something extra to find out what is wrong with that person.
Okay, I'm going to go into some of the questions I have now. Okay, I do wonder how I will feed my children every night. I fall asleep with tears in my eyes. I don't have a job, and the kid's dad isn't helping at all. I'm now looking for a place to live with my kids. Why do some of us have to suffer so much?
Difficult one. Let's say there's three different questions you just asked there. You know, I don't have a job, I go to sleep with tears in my eyes, wondering how to feed my children. And in this economic climate, it is really a problem. And we have to really look around us. Some of us, could it be that a person is not looking for work and has not found work, or needs to go back and retrain, or have they got to be more creative with what they have? So if you only have flour or whatever, how can you be creative with that to make something different each night? And so to ensure that the children eat, and what are the other resources around you that can help you? You know, can you get training? Can you get family support? Can you get community support? Is there the church? Where's the child's father? He's not feeding. There's a family court. There's human services.
A lot of people won't want to go down that road of family court
Yes,
and so on.
we do have choices.
Yes.
That's the whole point. I mean, you know, we can sit at home and complain constantly about how we're feeling, and never do anything about it and just continue complaining. But the resources are there if we choose to go and get them. You know, sometimes pride gets in the way. I have two children looking after, say, for example, and I can't. There is insufficient money there to feed them. Their father is not paying anything towards their upbringing, their upkeep. Am I looking after my children, or am I simply looking after my own sort of need to be prideful, and I can't do anything about it? You know, but a couple of the things that come across here. I fall asleep every night with tears in my eyes. First bit of advice: never cry to yourself, because that simply builds self-pity. I feel sorry for myself. The other thing, don't have a job. does that mean that, that I, like you were saying, I haven't been out looking for a job? Does it mean that perhaps I don't have enough confidence to go out to look for a job? Am I aware of the skills that I have? And do I give them enough credence in the world that's out there? Do I recognize that if I may have trained for this particular area here, but I have transferable skills that I can take to another position over here? And do I know how to sell that?
I'm hearing you loud and clear. So in other words, if there are others out there in similar situations, I think that what we're trying to say here is look at the options around you and do something. There's no point just saying this is the situation I'm in. Just see if there are any other avenues that you can explore so you can make that change. So don't let the situation take you over. You try and take that situation over.
Control.
And the final bit of that, why do some of us have to suffer so much? That speaks to an issue of I am a victim. Rather than, despite all of this, here's what I can do. Then I become a survivor.
And we go through experiences because it teaches us. So use that as a learning process. Okay, so I found myself in this situation. This is the end result. What can I do to get out of it? How can I move forward? What else can I do?
Now, you know, this question, it was very short, but the answer can pertain to so many other different questions. Because the answer ultimately is look around you. What are your options? Have you explored all your options? Make a start. Okay, here's one. It's a little long, but I wanted to read it because I want you viewers to try and put yourself in their place and then think about how would you deal with the situation. I have been going through the situation from the beginning of my job, and it's starting to affect my communication skills. I have been working at a firm for 4 years now. From the beginning, while my workplace was setting up for opening, there's a young lady who for no reason would get upset with me and make everything I do a problem for her. She would gossip and everybody looked at me in a bad way, or people would stop speaking to me. It has reached so far that management are dealing with us and I feel uncomfortable working there. It went as far as me trying to ignore her one day and not greeting her to see how she would react. And what I expected did happen. She reported me to my supervisor. She says her problem with me is a lack of communication, and I say my problem with her is her gossiping. Now I'm getting tired of this everyday nonsense. My supervisor doesn't want me to come to work and just do what I have to do and go home. It's like they want me to kiss her behind, which I refuse to do. The situation makes everyone look at me as the bad person, which I am not. I don't play hypocrite and I stay away from them. I only talk to them work-wise, which is not enough for my supervisor and manager. It's like she can do whatever she wants and look for all my faults and turn it against me. The thing is, now I am very frustrated about this and uncomfortable in my workplace, and I want to leave, but my husband refuses to let me. I love my job, I have a passion for this, but it stresses me out. I don't know what to do since I don't want to be out of a job and she is making my job difficult for me. I believe she has a personal issue with me and that it's not all about the communication problem. What should I do now?
It's all about the communication.
All about the communication. First thing came to mind is, have you sat in a forum with you, that person, and maybe a manager or an independent person to help the two of you to look at what the issues are between you? How did this start in the first place?
You know, you made that point, but what I find a lot when we look at executive management in St. Lucia, sometimes the manager themselves don't know this is what we should be doing. The junior certainly wouldn't know, but the manager who you expect to know, let's do that, they don't know.
That's true. That's why I said with an independent person, not necessarily the manager, but management would maybe have to bring in a facilitator, somebody who will looking at teamwork and working together. Or maybe they need to do something as a whole for the entire working unit. Not her, but she could perhaps make that recommendation. You know what? We're not working together as a team, and it's now affecting me, my productivity, and to the point that I want to leave the job. So I'm wondering, could you get somebody in to do some teamwork and team building, to facilitate so that we can improve our work relationship.
So here's one solution for the person who wrote this, and again, I'm sure there are other people who are in similar situations where you're not happy at work. It may not be the same thing, of course, but maybe you're not happy at work, so really you need to address them instead of keeping them inside.
Yeah, you need to address it, and if it is, I mean, on the one hand, I'm really disturbed and etc. etc. about the position, yet I love my job. There's a contradiction there. So that if it is a particular type of work that she likes doing rather than necessarily the job itself, then perhaps, because there seems to be a little bit of favoritism that's going on between the management and this other person, or maybe it is that she's blinded to some of her own attitudes within her communication. So that maybe she has a role to play in the dysfunction that's happening between the two of them.
Well, why both of you are actually talking about staying and trying to resolve? At what point would you say, you know what, maybe it's time for you to look for another job?
Well, this is the other thing that I'm talking about, because the contradiction says, that's why I'm saying, if it is that she actually loves the job, or does she love the particular type of work that she does, in which instance, if it is at that stage where she's so unsettled that she feels she can't stay, then she needs to be looking for a job at the same time as working.
And please don't leave the job. Do you know, I've heard of so many...
Don't leave the job until you find another.
I know, but I've heard of so many people in St. Lucia do that, you know. Someone upset them, they just walk out and leave the job.
But more importantly, there's something also in there that talks to control. My husband refuses to let me leave.
Yes.
My gosh, you guys really pick up on everything.
Who gave him that power?
Yes. Why does she give him that power? And when you look at it, we were talking about the passive, aggressive.
I see that as supportive. Her husband supporting her because, you know, in one way, he is support. He's saying to her, "Look, you stick your grounds. If you like the job, you stick to your grounds."
Yes, but no.
Is that what he says?
And I'm not. No, I'm just assuming. I mean, the husband could be thinking that. He could be thinking, "Well, I'm supporting my wife here because she likes this job."
Well, then perhaps he hasn't communicated it terribly well.
That's not. That's not what I'm saying either.
You're not seeing that. You see, there's so many different things to see.
But I'm seeing what I'm seeing there is an issue of control. She has given him the power to say you can either stay or you can leave. And that is something which needs to be addressed.
But I would want
in society.
I'd like to make one final point, and this is where the systemic comes in. It's like, what has she done? No, how has she allowed this situation to develop and to continue? What is her role in keeping this going? Because there's something in the way she's interacting that's keeping it going. So what can she change about her that will help to change the situation? Because you cannot change the other person. You cannot. You can only make changes in yourself, and then by changing your way of interacting, others will automatically change around you.
This problem is a very good example to show people that when they think about going to see a counsellor, they think, I can't afford to go, and if I go, I'll need quite a few sessions. But just listening to the way that both of you have dealt with this, you've brought up so many different issues that to me, within that one session, and that we've only spoken a few minutes, if this person really wants to resolve this, I think, in a way, that is enough for them to go home and start thinking about all the issues, things that you said, and also to think about themselves.
Yes.
And then maybe come to some form of conclusion or decision and speak to your husband, or make another appointment to say, you know, I've thought of so and so and so, and then map a plan.
That's right.
Yes.
And also, a simple question sometimes is, what is it about me? Is there something about my attitude that is creating a problem that I am unaware of?
Yeah, because a lot of us, we put our defences up and we just automatically think it must be the other person.
Yes, and we forget to look at ourselves.
Right, well, we have some more questions for you when we come back from the break, and also we'll open the telephone lines if you want to give us a call, if there's anything that you'd like.
Would you do half of these?